Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, because right now on this 4-hour time frame, you can see that Bitcoin is trading on the very edge of this big level of support right here, sitting from 62.4K all the way down to 60,000 US dollars. Now, yes, we have seen a 4-hour candle close below this big level of support. However, usually I like to wait for a bit of a rejection from this level before really confirming it as a level of resistance, because quite often you will see something like this, where we get one candle closing below that big level of support, but then getting a bounce right back inside this range after that. So for now, Bitcoin is holding this level of support. However, if we do get that rejection from here, then the next big level of support is sitting from 58K all the way down to 56,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. And for me personally, I would say that this 58 to 56K level of support is one of the last lines of defense for Bitcoin to really continue this uptrend here on the higher timeframes. Because in the case that we actually get candle closes below this previous low that you can see right here, which is actually below this descending channel as well, well, in that case, we are no longer making higher lows in the Bitcoin price. We are then, in fact, making lower lows, which is typically quite bearish. Although, as you can see, we are currently in this one-day descending channel, which is a consolidation pattern for Bitcoin. And in my opinion, so long as we are trading inside this pattern, we will eventually likely break out to the upside. And currently, the level to hold for Bitcoin is actually about 56.2K. And again, so long as we are trading above that level, I do think it is possible to just go back to the top of the range once again, which is sitting at about 69,000 US dollars. And once we actually get that confirmed breakout with a retest, then I think Bitcoin is going to be seeing much higher price action. Although for now, since we are getting another potential leg to the downside here, you should really be paying attention that we are not getting a lower low in the Bitcoin price, because like I said earlier, that is very bearish. And one thing that is actually noteworthy here as well is that on the one-day RSI, we are still clearly in this downtrend because Bitcoin hasn't broken this descending line of support where we already got rejected from multiple times. And in the case that you don't know, whenever the RSI is trading below 50, it means that we are in a downtrend, technically speaking, because whenever we are at 50, it means that the price action is neutral. So we are just chopping around sideways. And of course, whenever we are above the 50 level on the RSI, then we are in an uptrend. So coming back to the support and resistance levels here on this one-day time frame, you can see that right now we are still holding that level of support. And in the case that you do see a bounce from here and we actually clear above the 62.4K level, then the next big level of resistance is from 65 all the way up to 66,000 US dollars. Although one thing to be mindful about is actually the Fibonacci levels as well, because right now Bitcoin is trading below the 0.236 Fibonacci level, sitting at 60.6K. Although if we hold this as a level of support, so we get that daily candle close above this level, well, in that case, the next Fibonacci resistance above that is at 63.2K roughly. So that is another level to potentially pay attention to if we get that bounce from here and we actually hold this as a level of support. Now, before I move on with the Bitcoin analysis here, if you want to leverage trade Bitcoin and potentially make money regardless of if the price is up or down by taking long or short positions, well, I recommend you go check out MEXC, which is one of the exchanges that I am affiliated with, because on MEXC, you can trade with some of the lowest fees in the crypto space, as low as 0.01% for spot as well as leverage trading. And besides that, you can also get up to $1,000 in trading and depositing bonuses simply for registering on MEXC and trading on there. So make sure you use the referral code with the link in the video description so you actually get access to those bonuses. Now, moving on with the Bitcoin analysis here, first of all, on this 24-hour time frame, because right now you can see that we actually took out a big level of liquidity sitting at about 59.4K. And after taking out that liquidity, we already started heading up to the upside at least a little bit, because there is a lot of liquidity to the upside right here, as high as about 63,000 US dollars. So this could potentially be a level where the Bitcoin price gets attracted to, because typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart. And zooming out to the 1 week time frame, you can also see here that we just took out a lot of liquidity to the downside. Although to be fair, there is some liquidity left here as low as 57.7K. So this is definitely something to be mindful of. Although at the same time, it is clear that now that we have taken out that liquidity to the downside, most of the liquidity is to the upside, sitting as high as 64.1K. So again, potentially you can see the Bitcoin price get attracted to this level. And if it does, then make sure to pay attention to the price action, because you can see a reversal here. And now moving on to the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today, where yesterday we actually saw a small outflow of about $13 million, which is interesting to see because we just had a week of nothing but net inflows. And now we are seeing a small outflow once again. So potentially the Bitcoin ETF investors are flipping a little bit more bearish once again, like they have been over the last 2 weeks or so before that previous week that I was just talking about. And the last time the Bitcoin ETF investors flipped bearish, the Bitcoin price actually took a big hit to the downside. So this is a potential warning signal from the Bitcoin ETF investors. And I will continue to keep tracking this every single day. So if you want to stay up to date with the crypto markets, I recommend you subscribe to my channel with notifications on so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Now taking a look at Ethereum on this 1 day time frame, because right here you can see that we are trading below the 0.618 Fibonacci level, sitting at 33.30. So this is an important price level to pay attention to, especially considering that we have that daily candle close in a couple of hours from now. So if we do get that candle close below, potentially that could be that bearish indicator for Ethereum at least. And continuing to take a look at this 1 day time frame, right after Ethereum broke below that 0.618 Fibonacci level, we fell right into this big level of support, sitting from 32.50 all the way down to 31.50, where we are now getting a little bit of a bounce. So again, that's why it is important to pay attention to that Fibonacci level, because in the case that we break through that level right here, then likely we are heading up to this next level of resistance, sitting from 34.30 all the way up to 35.30. And one more thing to pay attention to for ETH on this 1 day time frame is this downtrend in the RSI, similar to how Bitcoin is in a downtrend on the RSI. And of course, so long as we are in this downtrend, so not breaking above this trend line, then likely the RSI is going to continue to head downwards, and breaking through this trend line would indicate a potential reversal signal for the Ethereum price. So this is something that I would recommend looking out for on this 1 day time frame. Now taking a look at Solana on this 4 hour time frame, because we got rejected from the 0.382 Fibonacci level, sitting at $152. And like I said in yesterday's video, pay attention to this upward sloping trend line right here, because in the case that we break through that trend line, it could indicate a potential reversal signal and a lot more downside coming after that. And that is, of course, what we saw today. So we traded right to this 0.236 Fibonacci level, sitting at $138, where we are now seeing a bit of a bounce. So again, I would say pay attention to what is happening around this Fibonacci level here, because breaking through it would, of course, have some bearish implications, at least in the short term. And taking a look at the support and resistance levels on this 4 hour time frame as well, you can see that we got rejected from this short-term level of resistance, sitting at about $155. So this was a correct level to pay attention to. And after that, we fell into this big level right here, which is sitting from $150 all the way down to $140. And I know that I currently have this marked as a level of resistance when we are getting a bit of support at this $140 level right now. But I want to be a little bit cautious naming this a level of support, and first want to see a bit more of a bounce and back above this level once again, because we just got a little bit of a move to the upside above this level, but there isn't enough price action, like for example seeing something like this, to really call this a level of support, because this next candle close here could just be below, and then we fall into this actual level of support below that, which is sitting from 134 all the way down to $125 for Solana. So in tomorrow's video, I will give some more clarity on what this really should be colored. This has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again. Don't forget to check out that link to MEXC in the video description to get some lower fees on your leverage trading, as well as potentially your spot trades. And I will see you again tomorrow in the next one.